Hello and welcome to another episode of Blackjack Movies. I'm your host, Pat Elke, taking you through the journey of the best damn movie podcast on the internet. I am here once again with the co-pilot of the ship, Brett Gutierrez. What's up, Brett?
What is up, Pat, and what is up, listeners? It's January the 19th. It's a Friday, and we are bringing you our special Blackjack instant review of 12 Strong.
Yes. So as we do every time, we give you the good, we give you the bad, and then we'll give you the Blackjack Movies rating out of 10. Let's start with the good. Brett, 12 Strong, what is good?
I'll go ahead and hit it with one of the biggest good parts that I have right off the top of my head here is I love a good war movie, and then you put on top of that great the work with the horses. This movie is a freaking war horse type movie.
It is.
You know, it's you know, these awesome battle scenes in the desert with the rocks and the rocket launchers and everything and the tanks. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to throw in the element that makes it just over the top crazy and look beautiful, that they're riding into battle on horseback in 2001.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
It is. It's crazy.
But it lent itself to such beautiful, you know, scenes.
It did.
To be honest, and adding the elements of the horses, it's crazy.
The sound.
The sound was awesome. We watched it in IMAX, and the sound blows you away.
It really, it's one of those war movies that you could go back and watch multiple times. You know, it's like a Black Hawk Down, you know, a Saving Private Ryan type movie where just looking at the action pieces, it's one that you can go back and look at and see, like the choreography and the cinematography and everything that added up to make the scene was amazing.
Yeah,
and I'm with you 100%.
I'll highlight that even more in the very last scene. I mean, it did a great job of building the action, scene by scene by scene, and making it more interesting and making these, you know, crazy war scenes that you have really never quite seen before. You know what I mean? It was just different than a lot of other war scenes, and highlighted by the end. The Americans and the Allied warlord of Afghanistan are taking the Al-Qaeda in a position where they have this, you know, what they call it, a B-23, this crazy rocket launcher that's like built on the back of a giant flatbed truck.
It's got like 20 missiles
40,
on it.
they called it 40 missiles on it, and it can shoot it, you know. That scene is just, it was so cool.
It was.
To see, and, you know, you hadn't seen that sort of up close, you know, that kind of military weapon before, at least in my knowledge.
The crazy thing is like, you know, this is a fairly new story to come out because nobody really knew about it because it was classified for so long. So these 12 guys that are part of a special forces team go in, and they basically are on foot walking through the mountains, and then on horseback, because that's the only way that you can get from one little village or town to the next little village or town.
Yeah, you're not driving a Jeep over that thing.
It's crazy. And so, you know, they have to go this one route because there's no other route to get to these towns. And it's just a standoff against Al-Qaeda or the Taliban, you know, after standoff after standoff after standoff, culminating into that last, you know, victory, I guess. And, you know, it's just one of those things, like, if you can see it in IMAX, it was so good because the sound was amazing when the helicopters are flying by.
Oh man, yeah, the sound of the Chinook helicopter.
You know, the B-52s are overhead and dropping the bombs. It's so ridiculous in the IMAX.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
One of the other things I liked is Chris Hemsworth.
Is that in your good?
It is. No, I mean, it's in the good and the bad because, you know, but it's not Hemsworth's fault. It's in the bad. It's just,
it's just
you know, but it's one of those things, like, you keep waiting and waiting and waiting for Hemsworth to have a good movie outside of Thor, and he's had decent ones. Like, I really liked Rush. I liked Heart of the Sea.
Rush, actually.
I liked Heart of the Sea.
Yep.
You know, but there hasn't really been that hit for him, you know, outside of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is like Rush to me, where it's so good that I think that it could be a hit if people go and see it. Like, I don't know how box office is going to be for this movie or
it might be
or not, but
a little bit rough.
I really do believe that this is a movie that people should see.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I would agree. Hemsworth, yeah, he's definitely in my good and my bad, and that is no knock on Hemsworth himself. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the good. You know, he's so freaking talented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is not, we talk about all the time about how his comedic timing, his ability to bring that charisma to the screen and really carry it, and that's not what they asked him to do. They asked him to be the rugged, badass.
Yeah.
And dude rides a horse like no other. I mean, at least they make it look like that, which is basically all you need. He looks like a freaking god.
Yeah. I thought we were saving that for the bad.
That goes into both. That's in my good, actually, because it's astonishing how freaking talented this guy is.
He really is. And this is more, I mean, it's an action drama. There's
not a comedy.
There's no comedy pieces into it. I mean, it's one of those things where you really have to buy the chemistry between, him and the warlord general. You have to buy the chemistry with the other men that he's commanding. It's really interesting. One of the things I really liked too was that this was the first battle that he ever, that he was ever in country for. Yeah. And so
and he's leading
they weren't
a bunch
sure,
of grizzled,
vets,
veterans.
And I really, got that brotherhood part.
Yeah, and that helps with when you have great cast like Michael Pena.
That's true.
And he's funny just when you look at him. So
that's true.
He brings a little bit of that.
He brought a little bit of the comedy.
A tiny bit. But he also brings that camaraderie to it and humanizes the other the other Marines or I don't know, the Army?
Yeah, they're Army.
Yeah, the other guys in the group as well.
Just the chemistry between everybody. I think, the writing for the movie, the direction was really good. The pacing of the movie was really good. 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Perfect.
And it really did, like you said, build, and then gave you that major action scene right at the end, which was really nice. I can't get over the sound. The sound and the cinematography really, it takes me back. And I don't know if it's just because we saw it in IMAX or whatever, but it was like rattling the seat a little bit on the base of the helicopters and the planes, man. Like, yeah. And it just brings you into the movie when you can feel that power from the sound.
You feel there, that's for sure.
For sure, man. Let's get into a little bit of the bad.
Okay. I guess, and every war movie does it, but hopefully they just do it a little bit more subtly. They bring in these really like sort of sentimental pieces to the movie and these moments, and then they hit you with the music, and you stare into those piercing blue Hemsworth eyes, and you're just like, oh my god, this is such an emotional moment. And I think that they just did it way too many times.
They did do it a lot.
Like,
but I think it's whenever you have a close-up on Hemsworth, it just happens.
And the music too, and the sentimental like thing that they're doing. I think they kind of it went almost to the point of cheese with how many of these things they have. Like he has this hunk of metal from the World Trade Center, and the warlord it gives him his like cherished like staff at the end of it, and just a bunch of different things like this. And I was just like, whoa, this is a little bit too much. There's too much close up on Hemsworth. There's too much of him staring into the distance.
Right.
There's too much of his rugged good looks.
I think that's the major bad. Like, this dude is way too good looking to be, like, fighting in the middle of Afghanistan.
And I love that they addressed that. Kind of. Me and you took it that way. As soon as he meets this warlord, the first meeting, as soon as they get dropped off in Afghanistan, the warlord doesn't even want to talk to Hemsworth. He's like, who is this baby?
Yeah.
Who is this baby here?
Who's the good-looking dude with the dreamy eyes?
Yeah, let me talk to this old, grizzled veteran dude who's basically second in command, who's got the crazy killer eyes.
Yeah, and that's what they said. He's like, he's got killer eyes. He's got killer eyes.
You got dreamy good-looking eyes.
You're too good-looking. Don't talk to me. And it really is ridiculous. Like, there's one scene where he's washing his hands and his face, and you leaned over and you go, if they take off his shirt, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, dude, don't do it, please, because it's just ridiculous, man. And I mean, God bless him.
Yeah, so that's why it kind of brings me into the bad, because you know what? I mean, damn it, Hemsworth, you're too freaking good looking to be cast as this. I'm sorry.
Riding a horse, dropping a machine gun on him, and
and then
it's ridiculous.
And just being all half grizzled and having the perfect amount of scruff the entire movie, even though it's like over 3 weeks. Yeah. When did he have time to get a buzzer and just like perfectly scruff up his face to the same amount of scruffness that he had the first day?
Hey man, he's Hemsworth. He is Thor. I mean, he is a god.
He just controls his beard. No. Grow to here. Stop.
Yeah.
All the other guys have like nasty, facial hair that's all up on their neck.
Brad Pitt beard from Legend of the Fall.
And Hemsworth is just
Hemsworth
like, no. I
shape it.
I just came out of makeup.
I'm shaping it. Oh man.
So a few things like that kind of bring you out of it just a tiny bit. But overall, man, we just bow down to the altar that is Hemsworth.
Exactly. Like, it's Hemsworth. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? That was my big bad, basically the cheesy stuff. What did you have, Pat?
Nothing. When it came to the movie, I dug it so much. I was totally engaged in the movie the whole time. I never looked down and said, okay, what time is it? Whatever the case may be. I was like, I'm just in it. And I just dug every piece after every piece after every piece, and I didn't want more. I didn't want less. I was cool with where we ended. I was cool with every part of it. I guess the little cheese factors like you were talking about, I definitely saw them, and I can see what you're saying. They didn't bother me. Mm-hmm. I think the one that if it came close to bothering me was that last one with the piece of metal. Yeah,
you got to bury the piece of metal.
Yeah, he's like burying it in Afghanistan, and and it is what it is. But I think there was an interesting little line there at the end too when he's talking to the general, and he's basically saying like Afghanistan is like a haven for just lost empires.
Yes. Oh, he's talking to the warlord. You mean? Right?
Yeah. And he's just like, they love you now, but if you stay, they're going to hate you. And if you leave, they're going to call you cowards. There's no
winning.
There's no really winning.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. And this is the problem that we saw in Afghanistan.
And how it played exactly how it played out.
Now that we see it 16 years,
later,
it's like, it's exactly where we were.
Yeah.
If you leave, you're a coward. If you stay, you're just another tribe
you're
trying
occupying
to take
their land.
Yeah,
exactly, and they don't want you there.
Exactly, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, but very true and insight. It was insightful that little speech that the
there's little blurbs at the end was pretty cool, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers of like, how many people survive or anything like that. Although I was surprised.
Oh yeah.
At the number, crazy.
And then the picture, they showed the picture obviously.
Yeah, nobody looks like Hemsworth,
and all of them you could kind of pick out. Oh, this guy.
I guarantee the captain that Hemsworth plays, that dude is walking around like he's a big, he's like, ha ha.
They got the most good-looking guy as me.
He's got scoreboard on everybody right now. Hemsworth played me.
That's very true.
So that dude is getting it.
Walking around with the big stick.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's not really any bad from me. I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, overall, I definitely enjoyed it. I think it has rewatchability, and just bringing it back to the horse work, man. I can really appreciate...
The close combat was really nice. Dude.
I can really appreciate the time and the effort that it takes to make a movie like that.
It reminded me a lot with the horse work of like you said, Warhorse, or like Braveheart.
Braveheart, yeah. Oh, yeah, because these horses are running through straight up battle scenes with explosions left and explosions right. And
great horse work.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, man, let's get into the ratings.
Ooh, ratings for this one, man. 12 strong, very good movie. I a little shaking to give it such a high rating, but I think I have to. I want to give it like an 8.8.
Yeah,
it's pretty strong. Minus the cheese factor, which is easily ignored. To be honest, like I'm nitpicking because like it was like kind of bugging me, and the stuff with his wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was just kind of blah.
The part that's gonna bother you the most is that he's so good looking.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna bother you.
That's the only thing that still bothers me because it's ever present in every scene in the movie.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
but other than that, 8.8. I think it's a very good movie,
and I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Like I really enjoyed the movie. I think everybody should see it. If you can see it in the IMAX, it's even better because I'm telling you that picture and that sound, it just brings it even further out of like where you think this film is going to go, and it's amazing. So 8.8 from you, 8.5 from me. This is definitely a go see. Go check it out. That's it, man. As always, please like, comment, and share this podcast with all your friends. Find us on Apple Podcasts, on Podomatic, Spreaker, on YouTube. We have the audio versions up. Video, might be coming soon now. I don't know. We'll have to.
I'm on my way, Pat. How about you?
Well, I'm getting rugged, but I'm wondering if we're going to be more Skype interviews than